All right, got some big news out of the USC Trojans football program. Look, obviously, the way the season ended up is a big disappointment for USC, but it looks like Lincoln Riley and company are making some really good moves that are kind of falling under the radar. And I think there's some new news that came out recently highlighting one that I think is going to be huge in particular. Let's pull up the report. This is from NBC Sports. North Dakota State coach Matt Ince's time with the program is over once the season ends. Ince has decided to leave the program to become the assistant head coach for defense and linebackers coach at USC. North Dakota State is a powerhouse at the FCS level. It's an incredibly dominant program, and Ince is 60-10 in Fargo with 2 national titles under his belt. All right, so there's a lot of reasons why this is a fantastic move by Lincoln Riley, an absolutely wonderful hire. And then I think the first one is just Ince's demeanor as a coach in terms of the program at North Dakota State. They are known for being blue collar, for being tough, for being physical, for being fundamentally sound, for laying the wood, everything you want old school football, and frankly, everything the USC defense has not been over the past half decade. And look, even when USC was at their best, like in the early 2000s with Leinart, Lindale White, Reggie Bush, Carson Palmer, all those guys, they were known for lighting up the scoreboard. But let's be honest, they had a physical defense during that time period as well that has fallen off for USC. I think Ince is a guy who can come into the fold and immediately bring a new attitude and demeanor to the defense. So from that perspective, it's a great hire. But I think the second point is as USC transfers to the Big Ten, they're going to need to learn about how to recruit out in the Midwest. And you got a guy here at North Dakota State with a program here. North Dakota State is famous for kind of those under the radar recruits in the Dakotas, in Nebraska, in Wisconsin, in Minnesota, and bring them into the fold. USC is not going to be able to recruit, at least early on, with the Michigans, with the Alabamas, taking the big time guys in that area. But I think they could go out and get kind of those under the radar, sneaky good players. And there's no one who knows where to find them better than Ince. So I think it's a wonderful hire for USC. Mice, I'm curious what your thoughts are on this issue. But Trojan fans, what do you think of this hire? And what do you think of everything USC has done so far during this offseason? I think it's been a solid start so far, but I'm curious what you guys have to say. Let us know what you're thinking in the comment section below. But Miles, what do you think of this hire by USC and the potential impact Ince could have on this program?
Yeah, I think it's good because first of all, Entz didn't have to come here. He had a pretty sweet gig at North Dakota State. Like we said, an excellent winning record. He had national championships under his belt. This is a team, like, what more could you want, especially out of an FCS school? They were on top of the world every single year. And he comes over, I think he's making like 400,000, they said, a year at North Dakota State. So pretty good financially as well. I'm sure Southern Cal is going to pay him a lot to come over as well. But this is a guy who, like we just mentioned, brings a championship culture to Southern Cal. Bring it back to where they were in the Reggie Bush years, the years where they were perennially contending for championships. This is a guy who knows how to do that well. Bring that mentality, just like you said, along with the blue collar, hard work, hard nose. The thing that we really feel like Southern Cal was missing kind of all around the ball, but especially on the defensive side of the ball, is just, that little bit of a chip on their shoulder that they felt soft at times. They felt like a team when the going got tough, they got going instead of the other way around. And this is a guy who can bring back exactly what they need. And like you said, I love the recruiting aspect, and they were able to get a lot of great players all over the ball at North Dakota State as well. This seems overall just a really solid hire. Something a little bit unusual. Not a big name guy as far as the traditional roles go. He's a big name for FCS. He's a big name at North Dakota State. This isn't like a guy that you traditionally find come in to be a big time defensive hire. So I like that. I think Lincoln Riley's he's thinking out of the box. He's not getting guys that he's familiar with. He's not bringing in some of his old assistants or something like that to try to, keep the good old boy system going. He realizes they need to make a serious change, and picking up a guy like Entz, I think, is one step in the right direction to making that change.
And I do think we're seeing a trend in college football, right? We're seeing young coaches kind of rise through the ranks quickly. And that's kind of the direction you want to go if you're looking to build and address an issue on one side of the ball. We've seen programs do it at the head coaching level, right? Oregon picked Dan Lanning, an assistant from Georgia, to come over, and he's done a great job with a lot of energy he's brought to Eugene. Of course, Kirby Smart from Alabama under Nick Saban did it in his own right at Georgia. We see Sarkisian at Texas. We see Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss. people are going the younger route in terms of being, not 70 years old when they get hired to be the head coach of a program anymore. And I think we're starting to see that in the assistant ranks as well. And I really think it's a good decision if you're looking to revitalize a side of the ball like USC is. You want to bring in a young guy who's trying to climb the ladder, who's really ambitious. You don't want a guy who's just coming in to sign a paycheck. You don't want a guy who's just saying, "Hey, listen, I'm a coach. I'm going to be happy coaching in sunny, Southern California for a few years. Maybe we win some games. If not, I'll collect a big paycheck and go on my way." Bringing in Ince, this is a guy who wants to clearly rise up the ladder. He wants to move up to big time football. So you better believe he's going to come in motivated with a chip on his shoulder to really turn around this defense that honestly, it is atrociously bad and it has been over the past couple seasons. But the one shining spot is if they don't even have to become great. If they go from atrociously bad to okay, this is a playoff contending team. So I think that's exactly what Lincoln Riley is hoping for from this hire. I think Ince has a chance to do that, certainly in the short term, but I know he'll pay big time recruiting dividends in the long term. So no matter how you look at it, this is a really good hire by Lincoln Riley and company. And I think USC fans, you guys should slowly start to feel a little bit better about the defensive side of the ball.